I want to start with a question for you. Think about all the tech out there today. Which part of that massive industry do you think is going to be worth over $800 billion by 2025? Here's the answer. A whopping $832.1 billion. That's just a mind-boggling number, and it represents one of the biggest, most important technological shifts happening right now. So what's behind that number? It's cloud computing. And the biggest name in the game is Amazon Web Services, or AWS. That's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer. Honestly, to really get a handle on the opportunity here, you kind of have to think of it like a modern-day gold rush. Except instead of picks and shovels, people are building the entire digital world of tomorrow. And this isn't some niche market. Look at this chart. We're talking about every single sector. Healthcare, banking, entertainment, you name it, they're all moving to the cloud. This crazy growth, which is just set to keep climbing, is creating this massive demand for people who know how to work with this stuff. And that huge demand we just mentioned, what does that mean for you? Well, it translates directly into some seriously high-paying jobs. We are talking about a national average salary well into the six figures. This isn't just a fleeting trend. It's a real, fundamental change in the job market. Okay, so we get it. It's big, it's valuable, but what in the world is the cloud anyway? Let's clear that up right now. At its core, it's actually a pretty simple idea. Instead of you or your company having to buy and run your own expensive servers in a back room somewhere, you just rent them. You can access all the computing power and storage you need over the internet from a provider, and here's the kicker. You only pay for what you actually use. And when we say services, we mean a whole buffet of options. It's not just one thing. It's everything from virtual servers and massive databases to storage for all your files and powerful analytics tools, all available whenever you need them. So, now that we've got a handle on what it is, let's talk about how people actually use it. How do companies take this idea and build real things in the cloud? Well, there are three main flavors. You've got the public cloud, which is what most startups use to get off the ground with a provider like AWS. Then there's the private cloud, where, say, a giant bank might build its own cloud for extra security. And then you have the hybrid model, which, you guessed it, is just a mix of both, giving you the best of both worlds. And within those models, you can choose how much work you want to do yourself. Think of it like this. Infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, is like being given a plot of land and all the raw materials. You build the house completely from scratch. Platform as a service, pay-as, is like getting the foundation and frame pre-built for you, and you just finish the inside. And software as a service, SaaS, well, that's like renting a fully furnished apartment. You just show up with your stuff and start living. Now, speaking of providers, you simply can't have a conversation about the cloud without talking about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Let's talk about Amazon. Yup, Amazon Web Services. And what's crazy is that this whole thing started as an internal project just to handle Amazon's own massive online store. But from there, it's just exploded into the absolute dominant force in cloud computing, with more services and features than anyone else out there. So who's using it? The short answer is pretty much everybody. From a couple of people in a garage with the next big idea to massive global companies like Coca-Cola, Netflix, even NASA. This slide is just a tiny glimpse of the incredible trust the world's biggest brands put into AWS. So how do they pull all this off? It can feel like magic, but the cloud isn't some abstract thing floating in the sky. Oh no, it is very, very real. We're talking about a massive, physical, worldwide infrastructure of enormous data centers, all connected by a global network. And if you really want to get a sense of the scale, just look at these numbers. Over 120 availability zones, which are basically clusters of data centers, more than 600 points of presence to make sure content gets to you fast, all serving nearly every single country on the planet. The scale is it's hard to even wrap your head around it. So we've talked about the industry, the tech, the scale. Let's bring it all the way back to where we started. The opportunity. What's your place in this huge new world? A career in the cloud isn't just one job title. It's a whole universe of different roles. You could be a solutions architect designing the blueprints for how applications run, or a cloud engineer who actually builds and maintains those systems. Maybe you specialize in making it all secure, or you help older companies move into the cloud. There are just so many ways to go. But no matter which path you take, you're going to hear about something called the shared responsibility model. It's super important, and it's actually pretty simple. Think of it like this. AWS is like the landlord of an apartment building. They're responsible for the security of the building. the foundation, the walls, the main entrance. But you, the tenant, are responsible for what happens in your apartment, locking your own door, managing your stuff, and deciding who you give a key to. So how do you get from here to there, to one of those amazing careers? Well, it's not just about reading books. It's about doing. It's about getting your hands dirty, building things, trying things, and just practicing. That is the absolute key to mastering these tools. Because at the end of the day, the cloud isn't just a piece of technology. It really is a new frontier, a blank canvas for the next generation of ideas and innovation. So the only real question left is, what will you build there?